Well, hello. Now, today we're going to be learning about arrays, which is a really important thing in JavaScript programming. It's another type of data. Right now, we've only learned about two types of data. So if you were in your script.js, the two kinds of data that we've learned about are strings. So we could say like, let name equal Ben, or to you guys, Mr. Siegel. And like let age equal like, I'm only 24. So right now we know that a variable could have a string in it or a number in it, right? They could have these two types of data in it. There's actually a lot more things that you could store inside of a variable. And that thing that we're going to learn about is an array and why we have arrays. So today, most of the action that we're going to have here is if you go to show, this is what it should say, just to open the console. And what you should do is open your console. So if it's not already open yet, please go to inspect, open the console. Really, that's where all the action is going to be taking place today. Right here. So let's move on. So I got my name, I got my age. We don't really need these, we could delete them. And let's say I wanted to make a list of my favorite pets. All right, my favorite types of pets. Well, obviously my first favorite pet would be a cat. Everyone knows that about me. I love cats. But I don't just love cats. Maybe I have a second type of favorite pet. So I have favorite pet 2. And I also I like dogs, so I'm going to say dog. And then let's say I had a third favorite pet, which I do. I could say favorite pet 3, which is a frog. And then let's say I had a fourth favorite pet, so I say favorite. And you might see that I could keep doing this for a while. Oh, I'm getting a call. Decline. Spam every time. 4, and I could say like ferret, but this list goes on and on. And let's say I had like 20 different kinds of pets that I like. This would take a long time doing it variable by variable. So maybe it would just make sense to make like a whole list of those things in something called an array. So the way you would make arrays, same thing like before, we make a variable. So we'd say let favorite pets, plural, because I always like to have my variables, my arrays, the plural, because there's more than one thing. So here are my favorite pets. And to make the list, I just put these things called square brackets, not parentheses and not curly brackets, but square brackets. And here we can store all my favorite pets. So we could just say cat, comma, dog, comma, frog, comma, ferret. And now I have my 4 kinds of pets that I enjoy all in one place. Now, how do I access the things in this list, right? In this array. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Well, what you should know about an array is that if I wanted to say like what's my first favorite pet, like right here in this position, this isn't 1. This is actually called position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, and so on. So that's usually what confuses people about arrays. But if I wanted to call this first one right here, what you would say is this. We would say console.log favorite pets, which is the whole list. And then you do in brackets. You wouldn't put 1. Put 0, because 0 accesses cat. Now let's say I wanted to get frog. How can I get frog to show up on the screen? Well, instead of accessing 0, we would go 0, 1, 2. So I know frog is the third thing in the list, but we would put 2 because it's 0, 1, then 2. So you always count 1 down. So 2, and if you notice here, now frog pops up. And obviously if I want to do ferret, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Geez, I can't count. Favorite pets 3. And you'll see that ferret pops up. So that's a really important thing with arrays. Just remember that it always starts counting at 0. That is the key thing here. So this is what an array looks like. And another thing you should know about arrays is that there's these things called array methods. Just like there was string methods, there's array methods that you can mess with that does all sorts of different things. And if you look in here, this is in, if you go to Google Classroom, you'll see that I have this JavaScript array reference list. And these are all the different things or different methods that exist on an array that you can use, just like with strings. There's join, there's for each, there's filter, there's find, there's every, there's length. There's all sorts of things that you could do here. Push and pop and map and shift and slice, all fun things to learn with. And honestly, these are so important to learn. But I'm just going to demonstrate a few of these for you. So let's say you wanted to, reverse the order of these. So instead of doing cat, dog, frog, ferret, it went ferret, frog, dog, cat. What we could do is this. So we'll console.log favorite pets and then we're going to run one of these methods on it. So we say dot, and if you look here, go to R, it's reverse. It's going to reverse the order. So we're going to say dot reverse, and if we look here, now it's in the opposite order: ferret, frog, dog, cat. See how I reversed the array? There's so many different things you can also check out. So we could say console.log. We could do favorite pets dot length, and that'll tell us how many items are in our array. So right now there's 4. It should say 4. Sure enough, it says ferret. Then it tells us the reverse order. And then we have 4. Let's see what else. I mean, I could do this all day. This is just too fun. You can do a find. Didn't even do that. Concat, which we learned is going to join two things together. There's all sorts of fun ones here. And that's for you to play with. The one I really want to focus on now is one of my favorites, which is for each. And this one calls a function on each element of the array. This one is really important and comes in very handy. And what it does is it takes each one of these elements and it'll do something very specific to it. So let's say we wanted to make a form email where we said I love cat, I love dog, I love frog, I love ferret, right? I want to say something for each one of those. What we could do is something called a for each loop. All right, the for each loop works like this. So we would say favorite pets, which is the whole array, and we're going to say for each, which is saying for each one of the items in the array, we're going to do something. Now we're going to say pet, which is it's going to take in each individual pet, and this is usually the singular version of whatever this is. So if this array was cars, we'd put car here. If this was items, we'd put items. We'd put item here. I mean, really doesn't matter what you put here. You could put mom, but really we just want to put the singular version of that array. And then you do arrow and then curly braces. And so for each pet, this arrow means what do we want to do? So what I want to do is console.log I love plus pet plus so much. Let me put an apostrophe. I'm going to be really fancy here. So if you look here, now if I run this, it says, I love ferrets so much, I love frogs so much, I love dogs so much, I love cats so much. Obviously, I missed a space. That's going to annoy me to no end. So it says, I love, oh my gosh, geez, Siegel, get on the ball. I love space. So it says, I love ferrets so much, I love frogs so much, I love dogs so much, I love cats so much. So that's the fun thing about a for each loop, is that it'll do something to each one of the things in the array, or items in the array. They're very powerful and they're very fun to use. So really I want to sum up the 3 things we learned today. We learned about how to make an array, which is we use these brackets and then we put the different items in them. We learned how to access the different items in an array, which is by using the index, that's what we call, and the index starts at 0. And then finally we learned about the different methods that you can use on an array. So there's different kinds of methods. We learned about that. Oh, I don't have the list here, but you can look them up and do all sorts of fun things with arrays. And then finally we learned about for each loops, which are so great, which really just does something to each item in the array, right? So it's the item, and then what do we want to do to it? There's all sorts of fun things you could do if you're creative with it. And let's just add a little, you could end the video here if you're like, Siegel, I'm done, but I'm just going to add a few notes here. So I'm going to just say, this is our array of items. You can access an item in the array by using the index in square brackets, the index of the item in square brackets. All right, so you access it by saying what the index is, 0, 1, 2, 3. There are many, that's not how you feel, fun array methods that you can use to manipulate an array, and a for each loop does something to each item in an array. All right, so we've learned a lot in this lesson. You can start your exercise now. Great job. I'm proud of you. keep living the dream. Bye.